All right, welcome back everybody to another Tiny Tina's Wonderlands stream. This one isn't going to be super long. It's going to be kind of talking more about connectivity, game sort of mission statement here, and sort of what our plan is moving forward. So definitely had a lot of fun playing the other day with some homies. Did some cool stuff. I managed to figure out a setup that would work pretty good for being able to play and stream, but that setup that I had figured out didn't allow the voices of my teammates to show up in the stream itself. So the beginning of today, I sort of did a lot of research on how I could possibly get my connection set up so that I could have my my teammates who are on Xbox actually show up in a PlayStation native stream. And basically what I came up with was to have Discord open on two devices. One device would be for me to talk to my homies and to hear them as well. And then the other device would be sort of like an input that gets sent to the controller so that whatever's on the other end of it, like a computer or a laptop, for example, that's open in Discord as like a shadow member or something like that, for just listening, could basically everything that's going on there could get sent to the controller, and hopefully that would show up in the stream and sound pretty good. Now, I tried this technique out today, and it did work, but I made the mistake of using TRS cables instead of TRRS cables. PlayStation, Cloud Alpha, Beats, a lot of these companies whose equipment that I'm using, Turtle Beach, for example, they're all pretty much using TRRS, or tip ring sleeve connection points. That's really important for both sending and receiving audio. With TRS, the problem is you're trying to make one ring do the job of two rings. So the connection, while audio came through, it wasn't exactly the most clear. You can make out words, but it was really garbled. So I'm hoping in the coming days to weeks, the cables, the newer TRRS cables, I'm hoping those ones that I ordered will come in relatively soon, and I'll be able to test those out. The goal here is to get the Discord group on the stream so that everybody on YouTube can hear what's going on. Like for me, for example, you guys would hear my voice and my teammate's voice and the game. That would be super awesome. Now, I've been told by people who have played previous Borderlands games that the in-game chat feature will kind of solve this problem. Like, I'd be able to get voices in the native PS4 streaming to show up in YouTube using just the in-game chat feature. If it exists in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, I will definitely use it. In the meantime, that will be like the best thing that I have, because otherwise you'll just be streaming and you'll only be here, or I'll be streaming and you'll only be hearing me, and you won't be hearing my teammates. You'll see them on screen, and I can kind of like tell you what they're doing, but it'll be hard to juggle that while communicating with them. So I'd rather just sort of like have us play and then it all gets streamed, because then it makes a lot more sense to the viewers, and it would be way more epic that way to have all the voices get streamed instead of just mine. So that's kind of my plan, to get those cables, try the same wiring method out with those cables, and hopefully the garbliness goes away so that it's like stream-worthy content, and instead of just like you guys trying to squint your ears and listen to what they're saying. But with that being said, I'm really excited to at least get some more testing done with this game, and to try to see if we can use the in-game feature to get the co-op streaming going with the homies. As far as the actual mechanics of the game goes, I want to kind of discuss a little bit of that too. So I'm going to go ahead and continue here and load into the game. I'm probably not going to do any progress or really combat stuff in this one. It's just kind of we're talking about what our plan is. I'll probably still be doing solo streams for when I can't get a hold of the co-opers, the homies. And of course, we'll still be doing our Elden Ring streams. That's kind of really more the focus, but I definitely wanted to try out this game. I'm really excited that there's crossplay between Xbox and PlayStation 4 and PC, and the even more interesting thing about this is it's not just crossplay between platforms. It's also crossplay between like generations of systems because, for example, I'm on PS4, I'm playing with people on Xbox Series X, for example, and not just like an Xbox One. So there's a lot to juggle. When I played a couple days ago, the game had only been out for like less than 30 hours, less than probably like 36 hours, so like a day and a half ish, and basically you can add people from your friends list, or you can just join them if you have it set to friends only, which is really, really easy. There's no like putting of signs down or any of that weird like FromSoft stuff. You just click on them, you join them, and it works. It works really, really well. You don't even have to do anything. You can also send an invite to people, or you can just have it set to public. There's also a matchmaking feature, which seems pretty cool. I didn't really check that out too much, but basically my summary is when it works good, it works real good. But being that this game is juggling all these different types of connections, we had about, I'd say, an hour of really solid, awesome gameplay where we did some good progress, and then after that, we had probably 20 minutes of straight connection problems, and we sort of jokingly blamed each other's connections on why it was happening, but it turned out it was a global issue. So I assume that, with the game being so new, they were trying to work out all these kinks. I sort of looked at the connection status later, and it seemed a lot better after only maybe like an hour of me being off, but by then I was kind of getting sleepy, so I went to bed. So anyways, we'll probably try some co-op again just through the in-game party chat feature to test out how that sounds on YouTube, because if that works decently, then we might just do that. The problem is if somebody dies, they're going to get kicked, their voices are going to get kicked from the stream, and when you're streaming, it's really hard to like pay attention to anything other than that, because you're juggling gameplay, you're juggling the streaming, all your different chats going on, so it's kind of hard to like refocus on getting that person back into your world. They could probably join themselves, but, it'd be better to just have everybody's voice there the whole time. So as far as the actual mechanics of this game go, outside of just the connection stuff, it's totally different than, like, a Dark Souls game. There's some similarities here and there, like, for feel, but it's totally different. It's more like Call of Duty with cool, like, dragons and stuff. Or really, it's Borderlands with cool dragons and stuff. The overworld was super cool. The quest seemed pretty nice. The combat's refreshing because I haven't played a game where it's super FPS heavy. But there's awesome melee stuff you can do in there. There's spells. There's all kinds of inventory stuff that you can switch out, and it's D&D inspired. And I do play D&D, so I've been having a real fun time with it. The first thing I kind of want to talk about here is the map. It's the first thing on this pause menu when you go to these different kiosk things that show up. So similarity between this and Souls-like games is there's fast travel spots that you can sort of zoom around to. I found a couple of them. I didn't find that many yet. And then there's also the overworld, which is basically moving around large-scale distances as a miniature, like a D&D miniature, instead of your zoomed-in character in an encounter or combat mode, for example. So that's kind of how they handle combat in this game. If you're in the overworld and you get sucked into an encounter, then you go zoomed into your FPS first-person shooter character, and the encounter starts. They even say roll for initiative. It's pretty hilarious. So that part I really appreciated. Being able to kind of spin the map around like this gives you a good perspective of elevation in this game, because sometimes it's hard to tell. You might think you'll be able to get somewhere on the map. You'll be like, oh, that's a way. But then when you zoom in, you'll be like, oh, there's actually a little elevation, so I could drop down, but I might not be able to hop up. The character can jump decently by climbing, but you can't always Skyrim up mountains like you can in Skyrim, or in Elden Ring you can double jump with the horse, and you can do some things that seem like they're impossible. But yeah, I really like being able to do that with the map to kind of get a sense of elevation. There's also the ability to set custom waypoints, but you can only have one custom waypoint at a time. You can't make a trail of them. So that is also, you know, sort of a point I wanted to put in there. You can kind of zoom in or out with our L2 and R2, so that's very helpful if you're trying to get like big picture sense of what's going on. So that's sort of like the map that we have discovered right now. There's also a world map. So if you hit triangle, you get sort of what looks like a map fragment, kind of, that like we have this one down here, but it looks like there's more stuff that we can't see. And we can sort of zoom in again to get like, you know, a more detailed view of something. You can't really mess around with the elevation in here like how you can with the zoomed in map, but you can see that there's quite a bit up here. So we only have this like lower third discovered. It looks like there's going to be at least another 2 map fragments that we can find that'll fill out these areas, and then also maybe there will be stuff that gets added to the sides. So maybe this map is like that we have here is actually truly very, very small in comparison to what's going to be. I mean, they've already announced that there's going to be DLCs for this game. So those DLCs will probably, hopefully, be other map fragments that get added on, making this sort of overworld map even bigger. So if we close out this map, you can kind of see we're back at this kiosk thing. You click square on it. So that's how I got in here in the first place. You can tab over with R1 to journal, and you have a quest log in here. So basically, you use your D-pad to get through here, and it shows you like all these different types of things that are logged in here. And you also have information on your right sidebar too. And you can tab over. If you had any scrolls, they'd show up. I don't have any right now. But yeah, that's sort of the quest log tab. I haven't fully experimented with this one yet, but I'm going to be probably checking that out a lot. Inventory, my favorite place. I spent a long time in here sort of messing around with different stuff. Some of our co-op friends sort of dropped us some pretty sweet stuff, so we have this cool sword in here now. We got this assault rifle that's been sort of carrying us. We have this pistol in here. I'm probably going to add a shotgun in at some point because this character kind of has like a hammer, and I figured, you know, big hammer shotgun would be sort of cool. So we also have our wards or shields in there, and then I assume that one of these is like a passive ability, and maybe one of these is like a special, like spell or attack or something. I haven't really fully figured out how that works. I'm gonna have to probably look into that or have it get explained to me. But inventory has been pretty fun. Your backpack is going to show you other things in there. So like, say for example, you want a different melee weapon. You just go ahead and you click on the slot, and then you can go to your backpack and you can like compare stats. So for example, like both of these have better damage, but some of the other things aren't as good. So you have to kind of balance that out, is if you want more damage or if you want like higher attack speed or better crit chance or a better crit damage. I wasn't really getting that much more damage out of these two. I mean, 28, 29 versus, you know, 26. It's not that huge of a difference where it really matters. So I kind of figured this would be a little bit cooler because I do like the straight sword feel. So I'm going to probably leave this on until I can find maybe like, you know, another hammer or big axe or maybe like a great sword or something. Anything like that I probably would use because I like that vibe. And then inside of skills, we have sort of like stuff specific to our character. So we had these first couple ones. I'm kind of going for this dragon aura here because I figured that the elemental damage would be pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of other cool stuff in here too. But the real reason I want this is for co-op. I mean, Dragon Aura, Fate Maker is surrounded by an aura that grants himself and all allies increased elemental damage. So basically, my homies, if they're near me, they're going to do more damage. So that will help a lot if we can kind of like hit things together, like attack it together, like they said in the intro. Maybe that aura will help out a little bit.
These lands are a beauty.
Sometimes the character will randomly talk, so it's kind of funny, and other characters will randomly talk too. But yeah, this is the skill tree. We can't unlock the things that are later on until we go ahead and start filling out these earlier attributes first, but they all kind of do cool things. And then if you click square, you get to your hero stats. which is like kind of where the D&D stuff carries over, but you don't actually experience like the same linking of these stat terminologies to what they do in D&D. They're a little different. Like, so strength is crit damage and not like overall damage. Dexterity is crit chance and not like character movement speed. Intelligence makes it does make sense that it would be spell cooldown, but intelligence would allow you. It's kind of a tricky one. Like intelligence, I don't really know a ton about what intelligence does in D&D, but like in Dark Souls, it allows your spell damage to get bigger. Wisdom is going to be status damages, so in this game it's going to be like things building up on, like if you do poison damage, it's going to be like maybe how fast that builds up. Constitution is like straight carryover. It's just your max HP, so that makes a ton of sense. Like that would be your vigor in Dark Souls. And then you have attunement, which is your skill cooldown. Usually, like in Dark Souls or Elden Ring, attunement is sort of like how many spells you are allowed to have at a time. So like the more attunement you have, you can have more spell slots, and then instead of having only 2 spells you can cast, you get like a third one. In this game, it's skill cooldown, so they're completely different, but it's fun that they, you know, kind of threw those terminologies from D&D in there, because it's really fun that they did that. So if you close out the hero stats, you just go back to this tree here. The last one is myth rank. I'm not really sure what this does. I'm sure I'll figure it out eventually, but I won't be unlocking that until level 40. Back in here, if we go to our hero stats, we're level 6 right now. I think at level... We like just recently unlocked that little dragon guy. Or no, maybe this is locked... Yeah, maybe this is locked until level 7, but I'm pretty sure at level 5 we got our little wyvern dude. Yeah, this lets us hurl our hammer, dealing lightning damage. So that we get unlocked at level 7. That looks really cool. But yeah, the dragon, I think we got at level 5. But yeah, we have our wyvern companion now, which is really sweet. He sort of like just flies around us and he does damage to things, which is great because I'm not the greatest at aiming. I like to run up and hit stuff, but I'm going to have to learn to aim for this game. I'm going to have to learn, you know, all the different controls. It's totally different than Dark Souls. I'll have to be getting used to it. We upgraded our character a little bit, obviously, because, you know, we've got some skill points from playing with some homies. So we'll probably do another stream. I'm not sure if it'll be today where we actually do progress. I'm hoping that I can try out some of those streaming methods I was talking about to get the cooperators voiced in the stream into the PS4 native stream that will then go ahead and be easily streamed onto YouTube, like always. So again, thanks guys for kind of hanging out for this sort of lengthy chat here. Excited to play some more Tiny Tina's Wonderlands and game with some people. So hopefully we'll be seeing you pretty soon. Until then, have a nice rest of your day. Peace, guys.